Welcome to Straight from the Mouth. I am Anthony Alba. We're going to talk about Big Hero 6. I didn't realize that Big Hero 6 was a Marvel franchise until right after the movie was finished. I looked it up on my phone real quick, and I very, very briefly scanned through some of the Wikipedia details and found out it was a comic book. I mean, the first indication, there's a thing of Stan Lee in the film, and if you guys stayed after the credits, you would have caught him there as well. That was probably the most prominent Stan Lee cameo I have seen so far. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest one. Can you guys think of another cameo he's done where he's had that much to say? Before I go too further, this is a spoiler talk, if it's not obvious already. So here on out, I could be saying some stuff that if you haven't seen the movie, it's gonna make you mad. And if you have seen the movie, then we can celebrate together. I loved this movie way more than I was expecting to. When I first saw the trailer, honestly, I took a big runny dump on it. I'm like, oh, fuck this. This is dumb. And the long joke at the police station when the police is, you know, taking his report. He's explaining to him the crime that's happened and Baymax. I kept thinking he was being called Betamax, which, if you guys don't know, that's pre-VHS. And if you don't know what VHS is, then, god damn, I'm old. I kept thinking this was like this weird throwback pop culture reference. They're calling him Betamax. I'm like, this is cool. They're calling him Betamax. Baymax. In the trailer, when they're at the police station, Baymax is like stealing tape and putting it on his arm. It was just drawn out and slow, and I'm like, I don't know why I should remotely care about this. The joke was perpetuating with him going into the house and being pushed up the stairs, passed by who you thought was his mother, and I just had no interest. And then the movie comes out, and the reviews are insane. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this makes sense. Was it the same company who made Wreck-It Ralph? I don't know. I thought it was kind of the same team. Wreck-It Ralph was another Disney movie I loved. I walked out of Wreck-It Ralph immensely happy. I couldn't believe how good that movie was. And Chloe watched that thing to death, and now I can never watch Wreck-It Ralph ever again. So I won't make that mistake with this. Yeah, I mean, goddamn, this film was amazing. Obviously, no movie's perfect, but this came so close. It's just, from the very start, it had you hooked, and it was like, oh, this is so much fun. I had a very faint understanding of what was supposed to happen in the movie. All I knew was Hero was supposed to team up with Baymax. That was the only thing I got out of the trailer. With the parents being gone, right away, I'm like, okay, the brother's gonna go. Immediately, as soon as it became evident that the brother was this genius person who had Baymax, who produced Baymax, rather, it became very evident to me that the brother was gonna die. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but as soon as the fire started, I'm like, oh, there it is, and he died. Even knowing that, I still felt for Hero. I still felt for his pain. And maybe I'm more sensitive to that, having dealt with a very, very serious loss just last year. Things like that get to me really easily now. Anything with family and loss, but it hooked me. And for a second, I thought everything was so obvious. I thought Cray, who was the red herring bad guy, meaning it was just a distraction. You're supposed to think he's the bad guy, or at least the main bad guy. I fell for that. I was sure Cray was the bad guy in the mask. It didn't dawn on me that it could have been the professor. It was at that moment I'm like, God damn it, this was so obvious. I should have seen this coming from a mile away. The film deliberately misled me, and it did it very successfully, because up until the moment that he was revealed, I had no suspicion it was him, and I totally should have. You look at the script, and it's so by the book, but it did it so well. I forgot it was by the book about halfway in. I didn't see that Terminator ending coming. That was such a cool moment when he sent him back through the portal. I was like, I cannot believe they went this route. They kind of softened the blow when he comes back. Up until that point, it was almost like the ending in Toy Story 3 when they were all holding each other as they were about to go into that fiery pit. I'm like, I can't believe they're actually gonna do this. I can't believe they're gonna kill him off. And then they pull the plug at the end. I was like, oh man, I kind of wish they did it. That would have been ballsy. And then I thought for a second they really totally did it here, and then they didn't. I'm like, oh. The audience was so into it. It was pretty awesome. I was just like on the ride with them. It was pretty cool. I had Chloe on my lap watching the film with me, and she was busting up, laughing so hard. Like, it was so amazing. I think she was pissing off the people next to me because she was laughing harder than anybody else in the theater. Especially that scene when Baymax was running through the factory when Hero first finds his little bots again inside that warehouse, and Baymax kind of topples over and his feet are up in the air kicking because he's still trying to run. Chloe was laughing so hard, and it made me laugh. She was laughing so hard, and she couldn't hear me laughing. She had to kind of look back and go, are you seeing this? This is so fucking funny. Are you seeing this? Like, she had to look back and check with me to make sure she wasn't crazy. That movie really moved me. It was firing on all cylinders. It had the humor, it had a well-structured story, it had a slew of emotional moments. They really did such a good job with this. I was astounded. The only scene I can think of where I was remotely like, ugh, was the Wasabi character. For whatever reason, he kind of bothered me. The only time I liked Wasabi was when he was introduced. Maybe he's just like deliberately a frustrating character, because when he was behind the wheel and he was complying with traffic laws, I'm like, I hate this guy. I understand it's for the sake of humor, but I just hate him. It's just get out of my way, guy. You're making me so mad. That scene when they're on The Rock, they didn't call it The Rock, but it's The Rock. They're taking on the Kabuki bad guy for the first time, and Wasabi's going, what's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? I'm like, this fucking guy. If they killed him off, I wouldn't have felt bad. It's like, yeah, you need to go. It was an hour and 48 minutes, and it could have been an hour and 40 with less of your bullshit. One thing I have yet to acknowledge that's cool is that these are Asian characters. They don't look obviously Asian. They looked, if I had to really peg it, they looked like me, Asian mix. They don't look full Asian, and that could be a good thing. It could more so be a thing that Disney doesn't want to take a chance that the movie won't sell because they look too Asian. It's weird that the aunt is white, unless one of the parents was white and they were mixed. I thought that was neat. It took me back. I was like, these guys are Asian. This is weird. It's weird that I'm watching, it's not since Mulan. Like, it's weird that I'm watching a movie about Asian characters. It feels wrong on some level that they're not just white. They didn't include Indian people, but it was an eclectic mix. They had white, Asian, and black. I mean, when have we had a group like that since Captain America? Going back to the story, the way that the teamwork builds up, the way they show them kind of learning their ways through trial and error, I thought was beautifully done. When they finally pulled their shit together at the end, it's like, I was ready to leap out of my chair. I was so happy. I'm like, wow. One of the things that kind of blew me away, and maybe this is just part of the comic, was just how much imagination went into this thing. It's like they made the best anime ever. I know so many people are gonna just hate me for saying that, but I'm like, come on, seriously, like, what anime have you seen that is this good in terms of a story, that has everything that this has? It's got great voice acting, it's got a great story, it's got great visuals, it's super imaginative. I know anime is super imaginative, but the structure of the story is so tight and so well thought through. Every time I've watched an anime, even ones that I like a lot, I'm like kind of finding my way through the story, because the way they tell stories is they kind of don't give a shit about you catching up with the main character. You gotta figure that shit out for yourself. You have to do that work. And I guess I'm so Americanized, I want them to get me on board with the main character as soon as possible. And Big Hero 6 not only accomplished that, but they had this wildly imaginative story. Great animation. It was very emotional. The only thing I guess maybe we didn't get that you normally get in anime is all the freaking cool like camera angles that have inspired a lot of American filmmakers, or even just a lot of American cartoons. I definitely need to watch Big Hero 6 one more time. Two reasons. I want to see it in 3D, and I'm normally totally opposed to 3D. And I saw it with this packed audience. The laughing kind of overtook some of the dialogue sometimes. Baymax would do something hilarious, and the audience would just crack up, and I couldn't hear the dialogue. I was laughing. God, Big Hero 6 was so great. Don't you guys think? I mean, it was awesome. I walked out so happy. I love when I find a good animation. It used to be that you could rely on Pixar to deliver great animated films. Monsters University was the first Pixar film in a long time where I was like, okay, finally. Before then, it was just kind of hit and miss. I didn't like Ratatouille. I didn't like Brave. I could not finish Cars 2. Cars 1 was cool. I didn't bother watching Planes. Toy Story 3 was good. It didn't blow me away Like, except for the ending. I loved Up. I have personal reasons for liking Up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little biased because I'm friends with the voice actor who played Carl, the main guy. I went to the red carpet event. I got to meet John Lasseter, who just totally blew me off. I don't get starstruck. It's like, when you see John Lasseter, the guy who has pioneered all these freaking classics, you have to say something. You have to. Even if it's dumb. You gotta say something to John Lasseter. It's John fucking Lasseter. You gotta say something. So what did I say? I walked over to John Lasseter and I'm like, hey, John, I love your movies. I couldn't think of anything better to say. What do you say? I don't know the fucking guy. I just know he makes awesome shit. I'm such a social butterfly, and I couldn't figure out a way to socially butterfly with him. His response was, yeah, thanks. I was like, oh, damn it. Why do you have to be a dick? Keanu Reeves is awesome. Why can't you be like Keanu Reeves? I'm still putting money in his pocket, though, watching his movies. The director of Up was really cool. The director of Up, who I believe was also the director of Monsters, Inc., was awesome. He's really tall, too. It's annoyingly tall. It's like, hey, guy, hey, yeah. You did good stuff, man. I enjoyed your movie. Yeah, that kind of tall. I think I've rambled enough. You guys got shit to do. Go about your lives. That's it. I said my piece. I love Big Hero 6. I'm going to try to watch it again. I think you guys should watch it again if you haven't already. Support good shit like this so they keep making good shit so we don't keep getting this crap that makes us say, oh, what does Hollywood keep turning out the same garbage? All right.